Because we both sit up at the same time.
Sit up straight, quick, hide the gut, hide the gut. Welcome to NerdQuest TV, where we quest for nerds and things of TV and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is Tuesday, the 21st of February, which means we are exactly 3/4 of the way through the month.
All right.
There aren't many days where you can, or months where you can actually do that. In fact, there's only one where you get like in a day that's exactly, never mind. So, happy February. And of course, you can only do that 3 out of 4 years. This isn't a leap year, is it?
No.
I don't think so. No, it's an odd number year. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because 23 is still an odd number.
Is it?
I don't know. Common Core math. It could be even.
Common Core screws everything up. Don't ask me math. I'm
not as bad as the number of rolls of toilet paper calculation. Have you seen?
Yes.
12 is a mega roll, but that's amazing. I posted that on my Facebook. And it actually has me completely unimpressed with the actual numbers that are. I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm getting in the 8-pack. And that's it. I just don't care anymore.
I just look at the price. How much is everything? I can afford that. I'm buying that one.
Yeah. The other thing you can look at is per sheet or something that it gives you the price or something like that. Yeah, which is what really matters. It's the number of sheets in the roll.
Give me the best deal.
Exactly.
Dylan now goes.
That's how you look at it. You look at
Dylan, who I live with, now goes with John and Dylan and his mom to go Sam's Club, and he just buys the big bundle.
Yeah, see, we have to have 2 different kinds for 2 different bathrooms. That's just the way we roll.
Give me something soft on my butt, and I'm happy. I don't want that Scott-brained.
I do not want to argue for the converse.
Yeah. Or go Ren Fair and just use a stick of corn.
There you have it. They
used to have someone at the restrooms there or privies
handing out corn cobs.
Anybody need corn?
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's great. That's back when it was in Tampa still.
In Tampa, yep, as opposed to Largo.
Or Dade City now.
Yeah, now it's in Dade
City. Dade City's not that bad. Well, for us, for this distance, it's the same.
It's the same as, it's a lot closer than Largo was, but it's about the same as Tampa.
Yeah.
And
I don't mind the drive to Dade City because it's all back roads from here.
Back roads, it's great. I mean, we get nice smooth roads. You get the last quarter mile. The last quarter mile is all it is, and even that side of it is still pretty damn smooth.
But even the trick for that part of the road is don't drive slow. Just do the speed limit down the road.
Just go.
If you do 30, your car is not going to bounce the whole time.
Yeah, you'll be okay. So, by the way, go to the Ren Fair. That started.
Last week it started.
Yep, started last week. And the weather has been phenomenal.
We're going this
It's going to be, again, good this weekend. I'll be up in Jacksonville doing a show. So.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
I don't go as much as we used to go every weekend.
I know.
I used to be there every weekend. And even when I wasn't vending, we would be there Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
At 9 in the morning till whenever.
It was a great place to be. And what I like about the new location is it is immersive. I mean, when you go there, you're not like hearing city sounds in the background. You're not like, fighting for parking in a city street. And then, you're seeing, the top of a Tampa building over whatever. There's Mosey in the distance. You don't have that. You are out in nowhere land. You might as well be in a village in 1590.
Hopefully, because that's where they're going to permanently stay, they start building the buildings there.
That will be awesome.
Like Texas Ren Fair does, where they have the year-long buildings permanently up.
Yep.
And that'll be 10 times better.
Oh, my God. Yeah, if we can have a permanent location where we can do that, that'll be awesome. Because, the little bit of permanent buildings we've had have been okay, but I'll tell you what.
And one thing I like about where it's at now in Dade City, dust. Is not as bad as it was Tampa. Tampa was so
that
dusty.
Red clay dust that was just it would just
you
cover
fill your beer
everything.
up and 2 steps later it's covered with dirt.
And your car.
Yeah.
When you come out of there, it's like everybody had a red car when they left.
Black boots would be brown by the end of the day.
Absolutely. So although we loved it and we went there all the time, we supported it perfectly. This location has a lot of improvements over the other locations. Now all they got to do is get better with it.
Yeah.
And that's what's really cool about it. So there we have our update on the Bay Area Renaissance Festival, affectionately known as BARF.
So did you have anything fun this past weekend?
Past weekend.
Did you go Sci-Fi Bartow?
No, actually, could not. It was birthday weekend again for my wife, and because nobody could meet the weekend before, we had to go the weekend after, which was Sci-Fi Bartow. Those two, for 3 years now, her birthday and Sci-Fi Bartow have just hit head on. And it just doesn't work because we have family come in and we have to have them, and we got to go out to dinner with them, and we got to go or meet people down in St. Pete or Clearwater because that's where they can go.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I got nobody to meet in Bartow. So it's like, God, I understand that like 32,000 people come through Sci-Fi Bartow. Huge
I don't believe Mark was up north, so he didn't go this year.
Yeah. So it was 31,999 people were there. I didn't even count me as part of the 32,000, but no, it looked absolutely fantastic. I can tell you, Sean and Lori have done such an amazing job.
It's a great event.
Of putting that together and growing it. And now, I mean, the city has named the third Friday official Sci-Fi Bartow, day.
Yeah.
For the town. They basically gave them the keys to the city for what they've done.
They announced the theme for next year.
Well, they did.
Time travel.
Time travel. Well, maybe what's funny is they should advertise it as the 2023 fair. There you go. So we all get a second shot at it. Did you see where Sean redid his truck?
No.
Good Lord. He had, like a couple stickers on it and stripes, and it said NCC 1701. Stripped it all off, went total whole hog on it. Completely redecked it out, wrapped it as the Enterprise, including the cells.
Damn.
Over the bed.
That's cool.
It's extraordinary. It looks phenomenal. And that's really cool because he got a camper that they redid as the Galileo shuttlecraft. It's exactly the right shape. So he's got the Enterprise towing with a tractor beam, I presume. But somehow it's been pumped up to being the same size as the Enterprise now. So it's just so cool. They are so into this stuff. These people live their fandom.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to see people who do that. I love that. In the meantime, though, we are not supposed to be going on and on about this stuff. We are supposed to have four major topics. I did it right. I got the right number of fingers. Okay, that we're supposed just put. Yes, that. Divided
I'm
by
autistic.
2.
I can't count.
That has nothing. Never mind. Pardon him. Think about don't.
Exactly.
Jail him. But no, what we're going to do is we've got 4 major topics, and then we have my list of 5 things that are going to be happening. 5 things that I find to be worthy of mention. And this week, the 5 things are 5 underrated must-binge shows. Okay? I have watched these, and for a variety of reasons, either people have not heard of them or people have dismissed them. And I'm like, you know what? That is not okay. Because some of these are really phenomenal, and if you don't know them, then you're missing out on other fandom that's pretty amazing. So we're going to start with the first one. And number 5, this one is, I know what this is. Okay, there it is. It's a show on Netflix, which was just a ton of fun. And it's called Magic for Humans.
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it. This guy is an up-close magician.
Oh, God. Him.
Okay. And he does tricks on the street in front of people.
What's his name? It used to be Just Incredible. And he changed it to his real name.
Okay. That sounds cool. But it is phenomenal to watch. He explains how some of them work. Like how he uses, like he'll get a bunch of people to do all the same thing and they all believe they're behaving randomly.
Yeah.
And he has completely pre-programmed them with subliminal messages through the whole thing. And then when they get there, they all pick the same thing.
Mentalism,
and
it's how you
that's part of it. But then he'll do levitation, he'll do disappearing acts right in front of people on the street. Now, how much of it's real, I don't know. But the neat thing about it is 3 seasons, they're like 8 or 10 episodes per season, but they're only 22 minutes.
See, I'm the biggest
so you can binge them super fast
on magic because I've been a magician since I was 10.
Okay.
So, and I performed from close-up magic to stage magic, parlor magic. So when I watch shows, I critique it very bad.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, so Chris Angel, big name in Magic. Everybody knows who he is. He had his huge flop in Clearwater Beach because of Fox News.
Okay.
But all his stuff he did on TV could only be done on TV. Versus David Blaine, that he does, all his street magic, can be done anywhere.
Yeah.
And David Blaine's such a better magician.
Sure. This guy's a ton of fun. The show is a blast.
Yeah. I know
it's like 20 minutes per episode. Super easy to binge, but you will leave with a sense of wonder that is just fantastic.
I'd rather watch stuff like that than the one they had on TV where they were doing it as jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
People pranks.
Yeah,
like,
and that's...
don't do that as a prank. Come on.
No, really, have respect for the art.
Yeah.
And make it work. Now,
Penn and Teller, watch them too.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Those were a tiny little bit out of order, but why don't we go ahead back to your first one now? Okay, what you got?
Super Bowl Sunday, 2 weeks ago now?
I have no idea. I don't follow Super Bowl.
Had a lot of movie premieres. We had a ton of movie premieres.
I know Indiana Jones had a preview on there.
Indiana Jones had a nice little teaser, and watching that, I'm like, okay, maybe there might be hope for the movie. It might be better than the Crystal, whatever that horrible
Crystal
thing was.
Skull.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the big one we've all been waiting for, the Flash trailer.
Okay. I don't know that I was waiting for it, but
I've been waiting for it.
I like the series. How does it relate to the series? Or doesn't it?
It doesn't, but it's using the Flashpoint, part of the Flashpoint comic book where he goes back in time to save his mom. But in a Flashpoint comic, when he does that, Bruce Wayne was the one that was killed.
Yes.
And his father becomes Batman. But this one's going to be a little bit different. We do have the trailer for it.
Oh, cool.
Emily. So, I'm just going to wait till it plays. I'm not even going to say it.
So is the audio running on this on live? Okay.
So we have Ben Affleck right there.
Okay, that's hilarious that a motorcycle went by outside. I'm like, no, the audio's coming through.
I'm not going to lose her again.
Baby Flash.
Has a pattern.
Great scene right there as the young Barry Allen's run out of the house during daytime and it turns night and older Barry Allen's there.
Mm-hmm. We'll probably go back and watch this.
Barry meet Barry. So when he went to the past, because things changed,
yeah, he's no longer the Flash.
Barry from that time period is not the Flash.
Of course.
You have no idea what the
But this is where we think he gets the powers.
I could fix that. Destroy everything.
Ben Affleck, Batman. And here's what's cool. So during the Batman movie, Batman Superman, you got Bruce's perspective on General Zod's attack. There you had his version from the Superman movie.
Okay. General Zod?
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the timeline, there is no Superman. Best part right here. It's really you.
You are.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
And it's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Then we see Keaton going down, kicking some butt.
If I can't
I don't care as long as Michael Keaton's back as Batman. All right, I have to watch
Supergirl in this now.
If I can't get back,
Because in the Flashpoint comic, Batman and Flash go to Superman was on Earth, but he was in a prison, and they go rescue him. But instead of that, it's Supergirl now.
what's the play? Batman, what do we do?
That was not us. Let's take us all. Imagine people fighting in a superhero movie.
I'm for Barry.
The Flash, screwing with the timeline.
Barry, what are you doing?
Just take the video over.
Of course. Nobody will believe it if you don't have video. Yep. Seriously, no pics didn't happen.
I'm excited for the movie, but
It's got a lot in it.
it's rebooting the whole DC franchise. Now, what's going to happen with Ezra Miller because of all the talk that he's done stupid stuff?
Well, now I understand why Henry was given the axe as Superman, because they're rebooting it with Supergirl.
Well, also James Gunn said he wants to get a younger crowd, younger actors to play the roles now.
Yeah, people a little bit more relatable.
But how many?
Which makes perfect sense why he would then have Michael Keaton as... Wait.
Exactly.
Let me think about
And
that
Ben
one for a minute.
Affleck.
Yeah, well, Ben's not, whatever. But you get the point. No, that looks absolutely astounding.
Yeah,
And
I can't wait.
It will be nice to have a brighter, not black and white version of the DC Comics.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. I love Zack Snyder.
Hopefully
I love his work. I love everything he
DC
does.
movie that's going to be good because the past few have been,
Yeah, we will not talk about Wonder Woman 84, okay?
that was the
did not
worst.
actually happen.
But even
But-
Black Adam wasn't that good.
I actually enjoyed Black Adam a lot. I thought it was fun beyond words. Now, I know nothing about the comic. Then I went, wait a minute. This is Shazam. Hang on. This is...
Black Adam's the villain of Shazam. That's the thing.
Okay,
They
well,
made him the anti-hero.
but he's, so I'm like, I'm digging it. And of course, I like The Rock anyway. He's just, he may be tiny compared to certain basketball players, but you've seen that image floating around online. Yeah, now I know how Kevin Hart feels. Yeah. So let us now move on to our next. I know we're going out of order on these things. Ready? Number 4. This show hit Netflix, and there wasn't a lot of talk about it. I know a lot of people didn't watch it because they confused it with the movie still. They thought the movie just came out on Netflix. But that's not the case. If you take the guy who made Addams Family, and you take the guy who made Men in Black, and now you put him in charge of a Lemony Snicket series, you end up with a series of unfortunate events. And that series is absolutely
And look who's the
genius.
Can't go wrong with Neil Patrick Harris.
No, and even to the point where they actually Easter egg the movie of a series of unfortunate events, and they just they make reference to it. He goes, "Well, someone's like, wow, your plot is so complicated to take over the world. What's going on?" He goes, "Well, it's not like you could do it all in one movie. I can't even imagine someone even trying." And it's just awesome stuff like that. And of course, you got Barry Sonnenfeld and his sense of humor and his sense of realism. This is a story that clearly came from a children's book, and the art direction is incomparable. The scenery behind the buildings. You only see what's necessary, as if you're looking at an illustration in a book. So as they're driving through town, they're taking the tram car through town, whatever. There's houses on the streets, and there's nothing ever behind the houses. There's no town behind. There's no other street.
Yeah.
It's, hi, we're driving down. There's a row of houses on this street, and that's all that's ever there. Because that's kind of how it would be illustrated in a book. And so he brings that straight to the screen. And it's got this weird sense of non-realism through it. But then he will do things that make you go, oh, shite just got real.
So for someone that's never watched it, I've never read the books or watched the movie.
You don't have to.
And I've never watched the show. Explain it. What's it about?
Oh, very simply put, you've got 3 children, the Baudelaire children, okay, who are orphaned in the first 15 minutes of the show, and they are sent off to live with their nearest living relative. And, of course, the adults in the movie are wickedly incompetent. So the attorneys and so on who have to determine, instead of looking for their nearest, like their mother's sister or, their own, dad's brother or something like that, they would go live with. No, your nearest living relative is your 14th cousin 12 times removed, okay, who happens to be 6 blocks away. So that's your nearest living relative. And the person it is actually is not even a relative of theirs. It's someone who knows that these children have inherited a fortune. And so his job is to try and weasel that fortune away from them in any way he possibly can. And it's an out-of-work actor, and that's who Neil Patrick Harris is playing.
Okay.
And it is just, these children have the worst possible luck. Anytime you think things are going to go well, it ain't. And it becomes almost laughable. But the resourcefulness, the brilliance that these children, the fortitude, they become heroes as you watch the show. And, instead of being the children of people that ended up being, mild spoiler, their parents were not just rich people, playing around the world. They were actually super spies as part of this organization. And so they were murdered. And the kids are part of this all now. So it ends up taking an incredible, just all the way through. And it is phenomenal direction, dialogue, everything about it is pitch perfect.
Definitely need to check it out now.
Definitely worth the time to watch. It's not the kind of thing you got to give 3 episodes. You get to the end of the first episode and you go, oh my God. Oh my God. And you're hooked. So it doesn't take, this is not a 3-episode watch. This is a you're in.
You're in after the first one.
Yeah, you're in at the first one. So
Lock and Key, the first episode, I'm like, I'm in.
Exactly.
And
you
it's
didn't
over,
have to
and I
watch
want
3.
more.
Same thing with Lockwood and Company.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Lockwood and Co. Okay, you needed 1 episode and you're in. Unlike, well, no, I'm not going to talk about things that you have to watch 3 to get through it. Yeah. So, what's next on the list, my good friend?
So,
or Michael, I'm sorry, you wouldn't answer to that.
I'm not a friend.
No.
So, Thanos, did Thanos have the right idea?
I don't know. Are you talking about Thanos from the movies?
Yes. Did he have the right idea of wiping out half the population?
Hitler kind of had that same idea. But
it's not just population. He took out animals, too.
It was
half of
random
living life forms, half of was taken out.
And the thing is, with so many of the life forms being an integral element of the ecosystem, by taking out half, you could be doing more harm than good if you look at it that way. Now, if you're just going to take out half of the consumers, okay, which would be humans in the case of how most people interpret things, but if you just take out half of the high end of the food chain, then you're going to end up with another problem because you're going to end up with overpopulation of the things that they consume as well. So personally, from an actual biological, science standpoint, it's a terrible idea to do it that way, especially if it's done randomly, because you're not actually picking and choosing, what's a good thing, what's a bad thing, because you could lose that person that's about to discover the cure for cancer, which would save too many lives. Never mind, saving lives is bad now. You want to get rid of people. The whole thing is a moral dilemma that actually nobody has the right to play God. But someone apparently had an argument that it was a good idea.
James Cameron, actually. The greatest director of all time? No, I can't even finish that.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't even finish that.
You're going to make you wash your mouth out with Coke.
His Avatar. God,
what was his argument? What was his argument?
That he thinks it was a great idea to wipe out half the population.
Of everything?
Yeah.
Why? It's not like the Earth isn't supporting them.
To give more food for the people. Because there's so many hungry people in the world, in other countries.
And we throw away 30% of our food in America every day.
Yeah.
So that 30% we throw away could basically solve world hunger.
But no, restaurants can't give it away because it might get someone sick. That's their excuse.
It's not just restaurants. It's what you're throwing out in your house. It's what we throw away 30% of our food every day. It's what's left over after a meal. So better planning, better supply chain, all of those things could improve all of this. There are a lot of other things that could go into that. But just also, killing half the people. Well, first of all, how does that help?
It doesn't.
Because you're losing half your labor that's producing the food.
So you're talking about 30% of the food we throw away ourselves. I agree, because when I go to a restaurant, the portion sizes are so big now,
ridiculous
I can't eat it. So I eat half of it, take the other half home.
Right.
I'll forget it's in a fridge.
Yep.
And 2 days later, thrown away.
Yep. It's got a 3
because
day.
they're portion controls are so big because America's on that.
And the
gotta
thing
have
is,
everything big.
what they beef it up with are unfortunately the superfoods. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that rice, pasta, bread, those are superfoods. They're super high in fat,
rice.
super high in calories. That's the point. And yeah, the carbs are just pure calories, which is what kept like the Egyptian population going while they were building pyramids. Beer is what they drank. First of all, it didn't give you diseases. It's like drinking the Nile water would. But on the other hand, it's a source of energy. It might as well be porridge you're drinking at that point. And so it gives you all this energy. And this is the stuff that once it hits your body, if you are not consuming, burning 5,000 calories a day, you shouldn't be eating a meal at Cheesecake Factory. Which, if you actually look at their menus, oh my God, their burger meal is like 3,400 calories.
Oh yeah.
It's insane. Okay, so
I like Cheesecake Factory, don't get me wrong. But when you have a menu that's this thick, like 20 pages, you're flipping through, it's just too much.
So you get a burger.
I don't want to flip through 20 pages, or in reality, okay, maybe it's 10 pages. Well, that's still too many pages. It's
3 pages of menu and 17 pages of cheesecakes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, you have to get through all the different kinds of cheesecakes they have. It's a factory or something. So that is Thanos? No, Thanos was a very bad person in a nutshell, and he had no right to decide. He can't play God. He's not natural selection. So that's all I have to say. And that's the thing. It subverts natural selection, which is another thing. Because if it just goes out at random, then you could randomly get rid of the next best evolutionary step. And you're stuck with idiocracy.
James Cameron, and we don't get no more Avatar movies.
From your mouth to God's ears. Oh, sorry.
Or hold on, he's re-releasing Titanic this year, back in theaters.
Oh, good.
Do we need that?
Yes.
4.5 hour Titanic.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was the actual. I know the second half of the movie was the actual time it took for a Titanic to sink. And I believe it was 2 hours before that, too.
Wow.
It's like a 4 hour movie.
I don't remember.
I remember
whatever it was.
I remember standing up and cheering when he died at the end.
Okay. Jack's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He could have fit on the...
All right, here we go. Number 3 of the movies, TV shows that you should probably watch. And now we kind of have a new... We had Magic for Humans. We had Series of Unfortunate Events. Ah, there it is. The next one in the list, and this is funny because everybody's going to look at this and go, what, I saw that. There's a huge portion of the population of fans who did not watch it because...
They thought it was for kids.
They thought it was for kids. It's an animated series. And honestly...
The best series ever.
Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Clone Wars. And it is, to me, in my opinion, and we know what that's worth, that is the best property in the entire Star Wars universe, is the Clone Wars. Once it's got its feet under it after like the first season, it became the best drama, the best characters, the best character arcs. It took its job seriously of bridging the gap in between the second movie and the third movie, which is when it's set. And it is incredible. And if you are trying to watch Mandalorian or any of the offshoots of it that have come out or are coming out,
because of
forget it. It's all Clone Wars canon. It all came out of Clone Wars. So you see Ahsoka Tano, and you saw
the main character in Clone Wars.
It's really, by the end, it's no longer the Anakin Obi-Wan story-ish.
It's Anakin and her.
It's Anakin and Ahsoka. And what happens when your Padawan realizes you're turning? What happens when your Padawan says, I'm not buying into what's going on with the Jedi Council. I do not agree philosophically with what they're doing, and walks away. and walks away just before you get General Order 66.
Yeah.
So she's no longer a Jedi. So she didn't qualify, but she's fully trained. She was ready to go take her final test. Spoiler, okay? And she's not a Jedi.
And because of the show, that's when we got Darth Maul coming back. We see this. We find out about what were they, the witches? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We find out who his mother was and how he came back. And
oh, it's
the best
extraordinary.
fight scene, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul in the desert.
There is so much in this series that if you've got to give it your serious attention and go back and watch the Clone Wars. Now, you can, after that, you can go ahead and watch, there was
movie?
Rebels.
Yeah.
And then there was another one they did too, between the two. And so you really have to catch up on all the animated series in order to appreciate what's coming out. Because the new Ahsoka is based on not where it yes, it is where it left off at the end of the final season that they redid. They ended the series too fast because Disney bought Lucasfilm. And so they wrapped up, and it was wrong. It left out way too much. So they went back and they made a 7th season. And it is so satisfying because it gives you all the characters that you need to know. And it sets everything up for the world you're about to see. So if you have not seen it, you've got to go back and watch Clone Wars from episode 1, all 7 seasons now.
The voice acting in that was great too.
Oh, it was phenomenal. By the way, what's really cool about that is the voice actress who does Ahsoka for the animated series.
Has her own Star Wars clothing line.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. But she also did the voice acting for the book Ahsoka. She reads the book. And it's actually voice acting.
Yeah.
Okay. I should have said, she reads the audiobook. But it's more than that because when they made it much like Neil Gaiman does an audiobook. And it's got sound effects, it's got music, it's not just somebody reading the text on the page or maybe doing different voices. It's immersive. And because it's the Ahsoka that we've all known, hearing her deliver her lines in her voice, and the book Ahsoka takes place after, the parting of the ways. And it's an offshoot adventure that she goes through while trying to hide, which is her big thing. She's got to hide because the Empire is looking for people like her. And so this is, again, much like it's a similar plot to the series Obi-Wan. What do you do when you have this power and people around you are getting pushed?
You hide. You don't want to.
How long can you hide, though? How long can you push it? The interesting thing about, of course, the series Obi-Wan was the bad guys knew that was how you draw out a Jedi, because they can only tolerate so much injustice before they showed their faces. And that was their big plan, is to keep pushing them, which, of course, makes things even worse for everybody, because they're going to keep pushing harder and harder and harder. And it's extraordinarily well-written stuff, and it's all the side stuff that's all come out of the Clone Wars. So, can't say enough good stuff about Clone Wars. Doesn't matter when it was made.
Definitely.
It is canon, and it is the best Star Wars ever made.
So. If you have kids, your kids will sit there and watch it.
Oh, yeah, your kids will watch it because it's animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool, too. So, it's a whole family event. All right, so now.
This weekend, a big movie came out, which brings, after this, a whole topic I wanted to mention. So, the new Ant-Man movie came out, made over $120 million this weekend, which is great. Ant-Man, both Ant-Man movies previously were good. Mm-hmm. The new Ant-Man is still good. It should have been. It was a Fantastic Four movie featuring Ant-Man with Kang the Conqueror, because of who one of Kang's personalities is, not personality, but from Kang in different universes, is actually related to Reed Richards.
Oh.
And we see that in one point in mentioned before. So this should have been a Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
And apparently his daughter says, Dad, like once every 4 minutes. She just says the word dad sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. People are annoyed by that.
No, that's fine.
But do we need so many more comic book movies? A lot of comic book movies lately have been boring. They've been dull. Look at Thor. The last Thor movie was garbage. The last Doctor Strange movie, the quality is going down. So do we got to keep pumping out all these comic book movies?
It was fun seeing zombie Doctor Strange. Okay, that was fun. But that's all I'll give it.
But rest of the movie wasn't as good. And
There's only so much you can do. I mean, it's called replicative fading. You know, when you make a copy of a copy, you don't get the same resolution. You don't get that clarity. The biggest exception to that rule was the difference between, Star Wars: A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Holy crap. But what do? You had to get a whole new director.
Yeah.
And really actually write a good script and take that forward. And then direct actors to their fullest potential instead of
that's
your
what
vision.
James Gunn does. That's why James Gunn's so great with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and we're getting his last one this year.
Good.
Now he's going to DC.
Yep. But Quantumania, what is that one about? You've got
Ant-Man, his girlfriend, her dad, his wife, and Ant-Man's daughter. They're playing around. She hits something, and they go into the quantum realm.
Ooh.
Where she hit,
which is the really all the way down there. Yes. Okay.
And Kang the Conqueror is down there, and MODOK is down there. Which MODOK ends up being what's his name? The villain from the first Ant-Man movie.
All right. So, so we're seeing this on the screen now. Are we talking over this? Okay, good.
The actor that played Kang is awesome. He was also he played Kang in the Loki show.
Okay.
Or a different variant of
Not
Kang.
really. I don't remember that much from the Loki show. No, this is pretty cool. I mean, the whole... Whoop. Oh, that's a neat effect. And again, we have replicative fading. Speaking of Michael Keaton, if you ever watched Multiplicity.
Yes.
Great book.
I love it.
Where you don't clone a clone. Bad idea. February 17th. So that came out. It did 120 million, which, post-COVID world, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some good dollars. And this looks like another one that is just a green screen
movie the whole time,
yeah.
It does have
Digital
two after
effects.
credit scenes, a mid one and a final after credits.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. It's got, what's that? Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Looks like fun. And again, it's very much eye candy in a lot of ways.
It is, but Marvel's just dragging out all these movies now, and they're not as good as they were.
Oh, it's because they're cranking them out. That's the whole point. What was it? They had like 23 movies in the lineup.
Yeah.
When they made the big announcement at, Comic-Con out in
Well, I think it's because there's been so many, it's nothing new. It's not like the first Iron Man movie, then you got the hint, oh my god, there might be an Avengers now?
Yeah,
you got the Captain
there was
America,
like,
then you got the
now it's all
Avengers.
just like, okay, now we're just running off in, 15 different directions.
Because now we know,
And-
okay, their next direction, they're going to get all the kids to do Young Avengers. Okay, who cares?
Yeah, it's getting old.
Yeah.
We really got to do something radical, something different, something that is going to really make an impression on a whole new audience and pull it in a new way. Are we waiting for another video to come up there, Rob? There we go. So let's go. Are we ready now? Number 2.
Are we on
This, what's that?
Is it number 2 and number 1 now?
Number 2. We're only on to number 2. Number 2 is a series that I caught by accident. I had no intention of watching it. I thought it looked like a dumb remake or a dumb something. I didn't know. Oh my God. I ended up absolutely engrossed in the series. And it was on AMC, I think. Okay? No, yes. And it was Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow ended up being a modern retelling of the original story with Ichabod Crane from Ichabod Crane times, the Revolutionary War times. But he ends up cursed. He shares the blood with the Headless Horseman, and it ends up making them both immortal but dead in graves until somebody goes to resurrect the Horseman, and ends up, because they share blood, resurrects Ichabod Crane at the same time. And so Ichabod knows all of the history that you need to know in order to fight what's going on. And you find out that, like, all the founding fathers were all Ghostbusters, national treasure kind of heroes that you never understood. And it's just amazing. They were all part of the secret organization fighting the supernatural.
So is this brought into modern day times?
Yes,
then?
it is modern day. That starts in like 2015 or 2014, I think, is when the series starts. So yeah, there are still flip phones, and then they move up to actual iPhones, and but it is incredible to watch that. Ever since I was a kid, I must have been like 10 years old when the idea first struck me that I would love to introduce Ben Franklin to our world, to actually guide him through things, show him a television, let him listen to a radio, have him drive in a car, have him get on an airplane. Oh my God, how would Ben Franklin deal with all this? Because the man was a genius. He was brilliant. He was an inventor. He did all these things. And how overwhelmed would he be by these kinds of discoveries and inventions that are part of our everyday? The toaster oven. Ta-da! Runs on electricity. Hey, Ben, look what you can do with that stuff. Okay? So this was and I realized after the first episode what it was that I loved about it, because it's Ichabod Crane, who's a contemporary and actually a student of Ben Franklin. Okay, Ben was his mentor in some ways in the show, being brought forward into the 20 teens and being shown the new world and being introduced to it and having to discover cars and motorcycles and just all these things that are just like. His first experience with a motorcycle is hilarious. But there's so much in there that just hit on that nerve, exactly what I was looking for. But it goes on for 4 seasons, and every episode is perfectly written. The dialogue, unlike some things where you go back and you watch the first few episodes of Supernatural, you go, why the hell did this ever take off?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've rewatched Supernatural again recently, and season 1, I'm like, I remember
what did
I love
we
this
see
show,
in
but
this?
God, some of this
But that's
was
because
so
we got
cheesy.
spoiled by how good it became.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get spoiled by Sleepy Hollow, nor do you get disappointed. Because the quality of the writing in the first episode is exactly the same as the quality of writing in the last episode. And they end it voluntarily saying, we are not going to take this one episode further.
So they ended it on their own terms.
Yes,
they got
said
canceled.
This is enough. Yeah, you can tell because your arcs are all coming to a close. And they're saying this is enough. We can't go further because this is going to get lame.
See, I love when shows can do it on their terms, like the show Lucifer. It got canceled on TV. Netflix picked it up for 2 seasons, I think 3.
Yep.
And they were able to end on season 6 on their own terms, how they wanted to.
Sherlock,
and how they
one season
ended
too
it
long.
was like, oh my God, it makes you cry at the ending because they wrapped the story arc so well. It's like, okay, this is perfect.
Yep. Sherlock, 1 season too long. Okay, they basically ruined the first couple seasons because you don't want to go watch it because you're going to end up stuck in the last one, and it's just not that good.
Yeah.
And so there's series that they definitely overplay. I was glad to see they finally hit Supernatural after 15 seasons, but that's because it was no longer an adventure series; it was a soap opera.
Yeah.
You were just watching to see who was going to be whose child this year, okay? And you know that your 2 main characters are never going to die. So that's not a problem. They get resurrected every other year. They take turns dying.
Season 10 is when that change occurred.
And became really soap opera-ish. Yeah. And I didn't mind. Because I loved the characters so much. I was having fun watching it. Because they even started making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
With the fan conventions that they're bumping into, going, what the hell? You know?
That was fun.
And all of the cars parked outside.
Or the episode where they went back and they were the TV versions of themselves.
Oh, the Scooby-Doo episode.
The Scooby-Doo episode.
Oh, my God.
Still my favorite.
Yeah,
I
it was
love that
absolutely
one.
unbelievable. They didn't take themselves too seriously. And I will say that Sleepy Hollow does not ever take itself too seriously, but it never makes fun of itself either. There are naturally humorous elements in it that are just worth watching. So that is an excellent series. If you get a chance to watch it, if you get access to it.
Is it streaming on AMC?
On
then?
AMC.
Okay.
Yep. So you can sit, you can binge. It is fun, and it's incredible because there's stuff that's in season 1 that finally comes back in season 4, very much like Babylon 5. Did that sort of thing. Which Straczynski wrote all that stuff out. I honestly think they dropped storylines like, maybe we'll use this later. And then they did. Like, I know how we can build it in, finally. And so they end up doing it.
I love when shows can do something from season 1, season 4 later, and bring it back on.
Exactly. Bring it back on. And goes, oh, my God.
Community had a joke on there that went for a few seasons where one person in one season said Beetlejuice. 2 seasons later, someone else said it. Then another season or 2 later, someone else said it. Then you see Beetlejuice walking in the background. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, that works. So that's that series. What's next, Michael?
So when I think of Blizzard Entertainment, great gaming company, I've been hooked on them from Warcraft, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, which 17, 18 years later, I'm still playing. But there's one game that they've been known for, Diablo. And a new Diablo trailer came out the other day.
No way.
And mentions a beta.
Good thing, because there are not enough video games in the world.
No, never.
Yeah.
But Diablo is such a great... both Diablo games have been great.
What's the basic premise behind it?
So, like, the first Diablo was pretty much create your character and you go through all these levels into hell to kill the devil.
It became a new battleground.
The second one had more of a story. I didn't play the second one as much because World of Warcraft sucks my soul away.
Understood. But now they've got this new trailer out. And what platforms is this available on?
PC. It'll probably be Xbox One and probably PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Because they did bring out the past Diablo on there.
The story of their downfall.
God, these graphics.
I'll be playing it on a PC.
How is this? I mean,
compared to what Diablo 1 was back then, the graphics are...
I sit here and I remember playing Tron, and I remember playing Zaxxon, and Joust.
The little stick figures.
Pop, pop, where you gotta keep bopping the button to keep the wings flapping so you can, fly your flying ostrich or whatever it was you were riding, and jousting with other creatures and other players.
But nowadays, the games look like they're live action.
It really does. And I guess my question, what disappoints me is, of course, you have the trailers that have these amazing graphics, but then you get into the game, it's always like way down low.
Yeah.
And this really isn't that way, is it?
No, even with Diablo, the game's still great. The past games gave a top-down view of the character when you're running around collecting everything. Think Neverwinter Nights type game is the type of game you're going to play here.
Okay. Yeah. This is... I am really kicking up my interest in my Oculus. And I so look forward to games where, much like, I'm playing Black Spire.
Yeah.
I've got that in there. And that, to me, that actual immersive meeting people and, not being above the game, but being in the game. That's what I really enjoy, because I don't like the whole game board thing. That just doesn't do anything for me. But this is, to have these kinds of graphics, and I know what's amazing is you can have stuff almost this good in Oculus.
Yeah.
And so when this comes out in Oculus, think about that for a minute. This is going to be amazing. And I'm looking forward to when these game companies start releasing in that platform for these kinds of games, because that will be the event that will actually get my attention. Because until they do, for me, it's all like the wireframe Star Trek game where you have the Enterprise spinning on the screen, and you had to shoot basically asteroids, a little more than that. But this looks, I do hope that they are able to, bring this into that kind of a realm.
So here's the good news coming up.
What's that?
So normally they tease us a year ahead of time, maybe 2 years ahead of time, because Blizzard takes so long to do their games, which is fine when they put out quality games. I don't mind them taking, like Final Fantasy does, 5 years to put the game out. Next month. Pre-order it now, you can do the open beta next month.
Wow.
So, if open beta comes out next month, I'm thinking probably, because Blizzard has a tendency, like all their Warcraft expansions always pop out in the November time period. October, November, I'm hoping the game will be out just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, that will be a big, big boon for them.
Stuffer. It's definitely the game I want.
I hear you. All right, ready?
Number one.
The number one show that I have heard nobody talk about.
Firefly.
What's that?
That's the one show I always talk about.
It's funny. I love Firefly. I went back and I watched the whole series again. I binged it.
Watched it in the correct order.
Firefly is not mine. I watched it.
Well,
and
I'm saying correct order because Fox put them out of order when they aired.
Oh, really?
On TV.
I don't know.
They put them out of order and didn't show 2 of the episodes.
Certainly worked for me. I just pulled the series and watched it. But here's the thing. I then watched Serenity afterwards, and Serenity was incredibly disappointing for me.
Because it tried wrapping up the storylines from the movie into one, and it still couldn't do it.
And it went back and rewrote some of the characters.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like they didn't fit anymore. They weren't the same characters. It's like, how did they meet? How did they get together? Now suddenly they're like trying to make people catch up fast, but they're making the Doctor into a jerk, and they're making, it's like, I'm not enjoying this at all. We've lost all the great characters that we loved. We're not going to talk about who they killed. Spoilers. But
I'm a leaf on the wind.
Yeah, there you have it. You can't take this guy away from me. So, the number one show that has gotten zero love, zero attention, all right, is based on a book series, or a book that is an anthology of what appear to be short stories that actually are all interconnected. And it's called Pantheon. Pantheon is streaming on AMC. Oh, you know what? Hulu. Hulu is where you get Sleepy Hollow.
Hulu?
Yes, Hulu.
All right.
AMC is where you get Pantheon. Sorry about that, folks. I got that backwards.
Well, good thing I have Hulu.
Yeah, but Pantheon. Ken Liu is a brilliant science fiction author, and nobody pays attention to him
because this animated.
Yes.
Okay.
It is animated. It is an 8-part, I think, series, and it explores the nature of UI, not AI, not artificial intelligence, uploaded intelligence. And what will humans do when that becomes possible? And how will corporations behave when it becomes a way to have your best engineers die in an accident? So you don't have to pay them anymore? And now they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? What's that worth? And what will governments do when they have this power? And what will happen when these UIs say no? And it's incredible. It is the kind of science fiction that really moves discussions forward. Like, Soylent Green makes us talk about food supply, and Thanos makes us talk about eugenics in a very stupid way, but it does. But you look at something like 1984 makes us talk about social control and those elements, and Atlas Shrugged gives us real philosophical things to talk about. And if you even go back to the old original Jules Verne and you take something like Nemo and you look at what he was trying to do with war and how he was fighting war with war, and is like, when is that okay? So you get these giant philosophical discussions, but most of those are pretty much all played out. We've seen all the, oh, gee, is it right to create zombies, kind of tropes. We've seen all these discussions. What if aliens show up and they all attack? Will humans come together to fight them? Trope.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all just tropes. There are science fiction authors out there who are really taking stuff to the next level. And Ken Liu is one of them. His work is epic. His anthology, his series, he's on a par with Tolkien.
Damn.
His worlds are massive. This is a single little book of little short stories that he wrote. And so when you watch this and you see the interaction of the characters and you see what they go through, you realize there is so much depth to what this guy is saying.
So where's the timeline in this? Is this
right now?
So it's present, not
present day. Present day animated. Okay, but that's it. It is pretty much right now. Maybe 5 years in the future. But it is intense. So it is so worth it.
Bruce Arbs mentioned, didn't they, when we were talking about Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
He goes, didn't Bill and Ted do that in the movie? The first Bill and Ted, they did bring characters from the past into the present time.
I actually never watched the Bill and Ted movies. It was never my cuppa. And where as an actor would Keanu Reeves ever go? Oops. But
they did do that a little bit, but it wasn't the main part of the story.
Yeah, it was an offshoot. This is the main story. Is him acclimating, but then him bringing value from his background to the foreground. And to the future, and things that we did not think about or understand or would even consider. He's like, no, this is why we do this. Oh, okay, so that's that. What a fun episode. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. This was really good stuff. I love this new format with 4 main topics. I love that.
I brought a couple more than 4, but
I knew we really wanted to hit
John
4.
wasn't going to be here today. He should be getting back in town hopefully soon.
Yeah, so we wish him all the best.
Needed to throw a little
be
bit
back
extra
soon.
in there.
But hey, got any questions, got anything? Get in touch with us at NerdQuest TV at area52tv.com. Take care, everybody.